Hey gang, welcome back to another episode of UXpreneur. In today's video, we're going to do a crash course into Figma in this mini Figma tutorial. We're going to take a look at wireframing, components, variants, and animation. So grab that popcorn, let's dive in. Oh, and while I have you here, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing keeps this channel alive, and if you haven't already, share the channel with your friends who are UX designers transitioning in their career. And that way we can continue to grow and keep this channel alive. Now back to the show. The first thing I do is I click F for frame and I get the selections of frames over here, right? I'm starting on a blank canvas here. I'm gonna do mobile first, then I'm gonna start with the device that I have, which is similar in size to the iPhone 8. I recommend you starting with the device size you have. Now, from our last video, you know that we are focused on value innovation here, reducing cost by building less features, but increasing value to the buyer by building that feature that doesn't exist in the market. And what we found is that actually recording an AI vocal synthesizer is missing in the market. So I look at a variety of recording interfaces and I actually mix them together on paper first before I come up with this idea. And I just want to keep it simple and have the recording button dead center in the middle. And so I'm using Font Awesome, and I could do a microphone like this for my icons, but I can select this text and say Font Awesome free, and I have to say solid, and then it will show up. They only give you the solids for free. So this is what I think is the beginning of the bare minimum here. So I'm sort of wireframing right now. So I have an icon and a ellipse. So those two things are separate right now. I want to right click and go ahead and create a component. Now it's a mother component. I don't want the mother component to be on the screen. I only want the child to be on the screen. That way I can modify the mother and it will affect all screens that have that child. So that's an important step. So what I want to do is I want to grab the mother and go to a second page called Design Library, and I'll paste her here. And then on this page, I will do the wireframe, okay? Now, to begin, it needs to say like something like click to record. I'm gonna highlight that text, and I'm just going to do Helvetica, and let's make this 16. So it says click to record. And that's because when we're a new user, we're gonna get a microphone permissions prompt on the second try here. So this is going to be microphone permissions prompt. So let's go get that iOS microphone permission prompt. There we go. Copy. Bye-bye. All right, paste that in. So what I need to do here is shrink it like that. Here we go. Much better. And change that background color so it blends in. Like that. Change that to be that background color. And instead of Google Maps, of course, we're going to do humdrum. I'll say that. Humdrum. Not too bad. Okay, we have click to record. Would like to access. Okay. You can see all these things are separate. Again, we're going to right click and we're going to make those a component. And this will be called, our permissions prompt or whatever. Same thing. We want to grab it, cut it, come over to Design Library. We're going to paste it. We're going to make a copy, come back over here to wireframe, select our page, and paste it. Now we can copy paste that, and we're going to hide that screen. We're going to make that background white again. Somehow it got knocked off. Okay, so now we're going to have the listening screen. Listening. Click to record. Access the microphone. Now we're listening. So here is the moment where we have to provide some feedback to the user in the form of the microphone appearing to be listening, like sound waves. Let's go take a look at Shazam. So they have listening and then they have the X at the top, okay? So I think that's important too. We need to have an X over here. At Font Awesome, it's called times. There we go. And instead of 16, I'm gonna make this 36. And I'm just gonna put that right up there where we saw it with Shazam. So we're going to go back to the component. Anytime you want to do that, you right click it and you say go to main component. It's going to take me to the design library and I'm on component 1. And we can now name this like microphone. And this is called permissions prompt. And I like to put them in this order because that's the order they show up on the page. I'm going to select add property and we're going to add a variant, and that variant is going to be the sound wave. So I'm going to need some more space here. I'm going to grab that and put it here for variant 2, and inside here I'm going to select the ellipse and I'm going to change it from scale to center, because it's always going to be in the center. Same thing with the microphone, just center and center. I did that so when I change the size of this, it keeps it in the center. Now I'm going to change the size of this so we have some room to actually create another ellipse. So what I'm going to do is copy, paste. I have ellipse 2, but I need ellipse 2 to go below ellipse 1 because we're going to make it a little bigger, and we're going to do like a 50% layer pass through, just like that. All right. And that's like when it's listening. And then we're going to do another one like copy, paste, ellipse 3. You can see that got darker. And now I'm going to stretch it out. And this time I'm going to go a little bigger like that and a little less. And so what I need is now a third variant where they go back to being small. I just have to select this whole area and I'm going to make it bigger again. And I'm going to select variant 2 and make a duplicate called variant 3. Now variant 3 is going to take these items, ellipse 3 and everything, and we're going to go back down to the same size, like so. Now I will need to name these, so instead of default, I'll name them like static for the static microphone, and I'm going to put at the top, and then instead of variant 2, we're going to say wavelength expanded, and for variant 3, which I'll move to the bottom, we'll say wavelength instead of expanded, collapse. So this will allow us to do some animation later. So let's do that now. So this is going to be not static, but wavelength, and I'm going to center it up here. Here we go. And this one is going to be wavelength expanded. I'm going to center it up as well. Right? See how we did that? So let's go ahead and select listening screen and go to prototype. And we're going to start a flow here called listening flow. And the interaction is actually not going to be on tap, but it's auto or after delay. So after delay, it's going to go here because we're emulating that it's actually listening. And we're going to use a smart animate. Instead of ease out, I think we're going to do a bouncy one. That's pretty cool. And same thing here, I'm going to go back, smart animate bouncy. Not on tap though, after delay. Now let's go select this and click play. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. A little slow on the delay, but it's kind of working. All right, that's pretty cool. So it looks very similar to this. Now we have the feed section, and so here's where another component comes into play. What I'm going to do is draw a rectangle, and I'm going to give it 100 radius on the borders like this. I'm going to draw another ellipse, and I'm going to come right in here, and I'm going to make it just a little darker, and I just want that centered up right there. You can see I want it to come over until it's nice and equal around the edge, something like that. And that's going to be like our profile picture or our play button. And over here we're going to have a heart. So let's go to Font Awesome and get our heart. That's really large. So what we're going to do is do 36. So you can see there we're going to have a component 2 where we're going to switch and toggle between solid and outline depending. Let's do the ellipses. There it is. I also want a pause button. Pause. And that's going to need to be a little smaller. So now that looks like it needs to be white. All right, so this looks like one line item in the feed. If we want to go back, let's get a chevron left, our back symbol. Let's make sure that's 36. And there we go back to recording. And then on the feed, maybe our profile would be there. So that's called user. And if you want it to have a circle, you do it like that. And can we make it regular? Yeah, we can. And perhaps later we can put something in there like an actual picture of the person. Let's get back to the topic of this component here. So what we want to do is grab all of these elements that we drew, and that's it right there. And we are going to right click and we are going to again make them a component. We're going to cut that component, go to our library, come over here where there's some space and paste, and we'll call it like line item. Now in my line items, of course, I like to organize them so that when we hand this off to a team, they know what. So those two have to be there, but the heart looks like it's on the far right, the ellipse is in the middle, and the pause is on the left. So it actually looks like it's pretty good, but this ellipse could go with the pause. They're together. Ellipse is in the middle and the heart is on the right. So it looks like we need to make this a component as well. In order to do that, I actually have to extract. Bring it over here first, right click. We're going to create a component called heart, and we're going to go to properties, add another variant. This next variant is going to be the solid version, just like that. Now we'll go to prototype and we'll say interactions. On click, we're going to change to that. Change to variant 2, and then vice versa goes back. Now I can grab the heart element and bring it over here. And now it's a child. So there's that. And now this is the next one. So we want to grab these two and we're going to bring them outside of that variant for now. We are going to right click it and create a component, and we'll call it pause. Now we are going to go to this design area, add a variant. The next one, variant 2, will be a play. And so we'll just come in here, select this and say play, and it fixes it. Go back to prototype, and this interaction will hit here, and this interaction will hit here. So now we can take this pause and we'll put it here. We have now our component. How do I get it here? Well, we can go to assets and we can just drag it over. Now we have somewhere to go to, and it's here. Now it's not on tap, it's actually after delay, and it's 15 seconds, so that's 15,000 milliseconds. We're gonna navigate to feed. Not dissolve, but I think it's gonna be like a push that way. Makes sense. Smart animate matching layers, ease out. Okay, and then this button will take us back to recording, and this button will accidentally take us here too. Now let's make sure that that pushes this direction. Yeah, and that one, it can be that direction. That makes sense. Okay, so now we can go here and play, right? Here's my track that we just did, and I can pause that if I don't want to listen. I can heart it if I want to heart. Playing it, playing it. Now let's click that to go back. Listening, and there it goes.
All right, gang, I hope you enjoyed that video on Figma components and how to animate them. In the next video, we're going to take a look beyond the limitations of Figma into a new prototyping software called Protopie. In our next video, from Figma to Protopie, where we can gain access to audio, voice user interface technology that you cannot in Figma. As if you liked the video, give it a good thumbs up. If you loved it, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell notification to be notified about the next one, and I'll see you there. Bye-bye.